Kerr in turn feeds Alan Kernahan, Kernahan feeds Stuart Ripley, and Ripley once more into an offside position.
Yeah, a bit of a shame that for Stuart Ripley. Found some space with the right-hand side. I think he's still looking for Paul McGrath. I can't believe that he's being substituted because those two were in such close combat during the first 45 minutes. But Ripley's pace, as Middlesbrough fans have seen in recent weeks, is very worrying.
Bit of pace up front for Aston Villa this time. Ian only trying to bustle his way through, but good defensive duties there from Simon Coleman. Clears his lines on the halfway line though for Aston Villa is Stuart Gray. Left-footed and long, and too long down the line, looking for Ian Ormondroyd. No chance for Ormondroyd to catch that. Goes out of play. Shade under halfway inside Middlesbrough's half. Near side of play will be a throw into Middlesbrough. And Gary Parkinson will be the man who's going to take it. His options are somewhat limited as Stuart Ripley comes short and Paul Kerr peels away. Stuart Gray isn't wearing a white shirt, he's wearing a claret one, but Gary Parkinson still throws the ball to him. But Stuart Gray can't capitalise on his good fortune and Paul Kerr robs him. Chip ball down the line, looking for the head of Alan Kernahan. Kernahan, is he going to outpace Derek Mountfield? No, he's not. Good work there from Derek Mountfield. Back towards keeper Nigel Spink. Quickly getting this game moving. Far side of play brings into play for the first turn this evening Chris Price. Long ball down the line from Price, looking for David Platt. Headed clear there by Owen McGee, and a good clearance as well. Picked up by Mark Brennan. Brennan inside to Stuart Ripley. Ripley halfway inside Aston Villa's half. He's taking on and beating both Derek Mountfield and Kent Nielsen. Down towards the corner flag. Far side of play. But the ball has drifted out of play just before the corner flag. Far side of play. Throw into Aston Villa. Kent Nielsen who will be taking it. A shade under 4 minutes gone in the second half. Zenith Data Systems at Northern Area Final here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, taking the lead on 13 minutes. Middlesbrough 1, equaliser for Bernie Slavin, scoring on 15 minutes as Villa move forward. Just on the halfway line, good long ball forward from David Platt. That's the outside of his right boot, curls away from Paul Birch. Halfway inside the Middlesbrough half, the ball goes out of play. Throwing it will be to Middlesbrough. Owen McGee has that ball halfway inside Middlesbrough's half. Far side. Goes short to Bernie Slavin. Slavin is out-battled there by David Platt as the ball falls for Gordon Cowans. Cowans threads the ball through inside centre circle for Ian Ormondroyd. Forced to run across the halfway line. Then check and turn is Ormondroyd outside of his left foot. Rather ungainly looking man, but he did get a good through ball through to Stuart Gray. Gray's through ball wasn't an accurate one though. Cleared by the Middlesbrough defence, but picked up by Gray once more inside centre circle and short to Kevin Gage. Gage back inside centre circle, inside his own half to Kent Nielsen. Across the halfway line, brings into play Chris Price. Back across the halfway line to the near side, where he picks out once more that figure of Ian Ormondroyd on the edge of the penalty area, moving forward to get that long through ball, headed clear. But to what effect can Gary Parkinson get there or Stuart Gray? It's Parkinson that gets it clear eventually, looking for Stuart Ripley. Ripley evades his marker, but the ball falls for Kent Nielsen inside centre circle. Glorious ball from Kent Nielsen, looking for the flying Paul Birch. Missed there by Owen McGee as Birch tries to move forward. McGee recovers his lines down by the corner flag. And good defensive duties there from Owen McGee, cannoning the ball off Paul Birch.
Yeah, I think Owen McGee has obviously taken probably not our words to heart at half-time, but words of Bruce Rioch telling him to stick a little bit more close there towards Paul Birch and coming off with good effect. But a brief word about the conditions here at Villa Park. Quite simply, they're appalling in the second half. The rain is teeming down. The pitch that was very sticky to start with is cutting up. And I suppose in many respects that's bringing Aston Villa down a little bit as well. They like to play that free-flowing style of football here at Villa Park. No chance in tonight's conditions.
Middlesbrough backpedal once more. Gary Parkinson has Ian Ormondroyd breathing down his neck, the edge of Middlesbrough's penalty area, but cool defending from Parkinson, brings that ball away, clears it up to halfway line. Alan Kernahan shrugs up his marker to get the ball through to Mark Brennan. Middlesbrough moving forward, nigger side of play is Stuart Ripley. Bernie Slavin looks up, he has him on the overlap, but Ripley has that run to no effect as Slavin just checks and turns, brings in Owen McGee, tries to play the return ball to Bernie Slavin. Good sliding clearance from Chris Price though, but Middlesbrough pick up that loose ball on the halfway line. Inside centre circle, moving forward now is Paul Kerr into oceans of space. He urges Ripley to go on the overlap and then plays it short to Ripley. Ripley has Gordon Cowans standing in front of him and Stuart Gray as well. The man he still gets the ball through to though is Alan Kernahan, edge of that penalty area. Kernahan loses out though with good stern defending from Derek Mountfield. Doesn't clear his lines though, falls to Paul Kerr. 2 yards up from the edge of the penalty area. Looks for Bernie Slavin. Sets the chance up for Paul Kerr. Paul Kerr shoots! Only just over the top of that crossbar. 6.5 minutes into the second half. Lovely 1-2 there between Paul Kerr and Mark Brennan. That left-footed shot from Paul Kerr couldn't have been far over the top of Nigel Spink's bar.
I think ever since Bruce Rioch arrived at Middlesbrough Football Club, the Aston Villa-Middlesbrough connection has been overplayed, but there was no doubt in the mind of Paul Kerr there, once a favourite here at Villa Park, what he was going to do. The 1-2 shot from the edge of the area. I think he'd have kept on running straight in the Birmingham city centre there if he managed to hit the ball at the back of the net. It was a cracking effort from Paul Kerr.
7 minutes into the second half. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. The voices you can hear in the background of the Middlesbrough fans. They've been in good heart all evening, especially since that 15-minute mark when Bernie Slavin got that equaliser. Good goal to start off with from Paul Birch in 13, but Bernie Slaven's equaliser bundling home a header from Alan Kernahan, which had struck the bar. Middlesbrough were level. They have a throw in halfway inside Aston Villa's half, far side of play. Owen McGee goes long down the line looking for Stuart Ripley. Headed clear there by Paul Birch, back helping his defence. Headed back in the danger area by Mark Brennan. Picked up by Stuart Ripley on the edge of Aston Villa's penalty area. Heads off down towards the corner flag. Chris Price in front of him. Paul Birch behind him. Skips past Birch, but then the outstretched boot of the Aston Villa winger brings Stuart Ripley down. A dangerous free kick as far as Aston Villa are concerned. That free kick's going to be virtually on the edge of the penalty area, around about 10 or 12 yards up from the goal line, far side of play. Mark Proctor, it is, just checking with the referee and the linesman, who say get it back a little bit. So it's now 3 or 4 yards away from the edge of that penalty area. Still, of course, 10 yards up from the goal line. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Mark Proctor with a free kick. Curls it in. Deep looking cross. A little bit too deep. No chance for anybody to get it. Skids away over the wet surface and out of play for a goal kick to Aston Villa. You just heard Alistair talking there about the appalling conditions. It's appalling, absolutely pouring down the rain at the moment. Swirling wind as well, which is making life very, very difficult indeed. This pitch, which was a bit of a quagmire on Saturday when Aston Villa trounced Port Vale by 6-0, has cut up. It certainly isn't as bad as it was on that occasion, but give it a chance. If this rain continues, it'll only get worse. But Paul Kerr for Middlesbrough couldn't care less about the conditions, trying to thread the ball down the line for Stuart Ripley. Outstretched boot of Stuart Gray puts the ball out of play, near side of play, thrown to Middlesbrough, 10 yards inside Aston Villa's half. Gary Parkinson goes long to find Stuart Ripley. Ripley centre midfield position, tries to play 1-2 with Alan Kernahan, does. Mark Brennan shapes up the shoot from 20 yards, can't get past the challenge of Mountfield, threads his way through, chance for Alan Kernahan will score! No, he doesn't. Nigel Spink gets down to save, and how did Alan Kernahan miss that one?
Alan Kernahan, great contribution in the first half towards Bernie Slaven's goal, but now he really is kicking himself about that one. Mark Brennan's sheer determination created the opportunity, but Alan Kernahan, he doesn't need me to tell him, he should have scored.
Quite simply, a simple chance for Alan Kernahan, 6 yards out with a goal at his mercy. Couldn't get the ball under control. Nigel Spink came across, smothered the ball at the second attempt. And will Middlesbrough live to rue that missed chance as Aston Villa have a throw in, 10 yards up from the corner flag, deep inside Middlesbrough's half, the edge of the penalty area. Norman Droyd and Ian Olney battle for the ball. Might be on the same side, but they're battling to get a shot in on goal, but Paul Kerr thinks otherwise. It does fall for him and Norman Droyd though. Cross coming in for Norman Droyd, falls kindly for Mark Brennan as Middlesbrough break, and they've got a chance of a good break on here. Bernie Slaven at a yard of space. He's already halfway inside the Aston Villa half, taking on Chris Price. Flick through ball from Alan Kernahan. No way Bernie Slaven's going to get that one. Chris Price follows it. He's going to have to stop it before it goes out. As he does, clears the ball long up the line. Owen McGee picks it up for Middlesbrough. Mark Brennan, central midfield, brings it to play Alan Kernahan once more. Matt Proctor picking up the loose ball. Proctor shapes it for the shot from 20 yards. Tries to skip past his marker instead, but Kent Nielsen sticks to his guns. Clears his lines well, picks out David Platt, shadowed there by Simon Coleman, draws Coleman out of position, tries to play a 1-2 with Paul Birch, puts the ball out of play instead. Didn't Middlesbrough have a throw in? Far side of play, 10 yards inside Aston Villa's half, 10 minutes into the second half. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1, long throw down the line from Owen McGee, a little bit too long. Stuart Ripley, fast he may be, he isn't quite as fast as that. The ball goes out of play, and it'll be a goal kick to Aston Villa. The cheers you can hear in the background of Aston Villa substitute Tony Daly, just beginning his warm-up routine. He's only 80% fit or so, Tony Daly, but a man with a lightning burst of pace, and he's just come out of the dugout 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes in the second half to begin his warm-up routine. Goal kick from Nigel Spink is headed back towards Aston Villa's defence by Paul Kerr, but hacked clear by Derek Mountfield. Mountfield's long ball, looking for Paul Birch though, goes out of play in front of the Middlesbrough fans. There are around about 1,000 of them seated in the far side stand, far side of play, in front of whom now Owen McGee will take this throw. You can hear Middlesbrough fans and only Middlesbrough fans in this ground at the moment. It's Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1, 11 minutes into the second half. Aston Villa backpedaling, but good defensive duties from Gordon Cowan. Sees Nigel Spink come to the edge of his area to clear, or to gather that back pass I should say, from Gordon Cowan. But to the edge of his area now is Spink, slices it somewhat, goes into central midfield there where he's headed clear and hacked clear there by Mark Proctor. Mark Proctor, his ball, long ball, is too long for Stuart Ripley, and good defence once more from Kent Nielsen, back towards keeper Nigel Spink. 11 and a half minutes gone, still 1-8. Spink's goal kick was flicked on by Paul Birch, laid into the path of David Platt. David Platt homing in on the edge of Middlesbrough's penalty area, squares the ball to Stuart Gray. Stuart Gray looks up to assess his options, left footed cross inside that area, up goal the head of Ian Norman Droyd. Norman Droyd falls as he gets that header in. It's cleared away by Owen McGee. Bernie Slaven on the far side touchline, approaches the halfway line. Bernie Slaven, good clearance, sets Stuart Ripley off on the run, can't get past Kent Nielsen, runs the ball out of play halfway inside the Aston Villa half. But Middlesbrough are not afraid to take the game to Villa.
No, they're not indeed. I'm just looking now at the Aston Villa substitute, Tony Daly, warming up. He certainly could change the course of the game, but interesting to reflect upon Tony Daly's thoughts in the match programme side about a Middlesbrough player I think is making a first-class contribution to the second 45 minutes here. That's Middlesbrough's number 4, Paul Kerr. Daly was saying that Kerr was always underrated in his time here at Villa Park and possibly should never have left. Now, Paul Kerr's operating an effective role just in front of the back four to soak it up when the pressure is on, and then prompting Middlesbrough forward with a series of lovely passes. Kerr's having an excellent second half.
Defensive duty scored for once more by Middlesbrough this time. With a long ball forward there from Gordon Cowans, looking for Ian Ormondroyd. Gary Parkinson gave up that chase a long time ago. He realised the ball was going over the goal line. That he does. Be obligingly, as far as Middlesbrough are concerned. Just a few more seconds, I suppose. If this scoreline remained the same, and it's a mighty big if, I'll tell you, because as they say, in the proverbial world of soccer cliches, there is a lot of football left in this game. Yet 13 minutes into the second half, but if scoreline remained the same, Middlesbrough would be highly delighted. The fans backing them every inch of the way as Villa tried to press forward again. The heady clearance from Derek Mountfield from Stephen Pearce's goal kick, too strong though for Ian Olney. And Stephen Pearce has a second attempt. This time he finds the head of Kevin Gage. He still can't release Ian Olney, and the ball's back inside centre circle. The Middlesbrough have it with Stuart Ripley on the halfway line. Ripley, good work, shrugs off 2 markers and brings in Owen McGee. Chip ball down the line, looking for the forward run, the return run of Stuart Ripley. Can't get it as Kent Nielsen watches the ball drift over the touchline, far side of play, throw into Aston Villa. And about 20 yards or so up from the goal line, far side of play, deep inside their own half. Chris Price just wipes his hands on his shorts, steps back a pace, then up to the mark, throws it long down the line. Owen McGee nips in first to get that header as Middlesbrough press on the edge of Aston Villa's penalty area. Good work there from Nielsen, though. Acts the ball clear on halfway line. First man to react quickly there is Ian Olney. Olney short to Birch. Birch inside to David Platt. Platt, far side touchline, jinking, cutting inside, puts the ball through to Kent Nielsen, up on the overlap, storming run from Kent Nielsen. Good defensive work there from Mark Brennan, though. And Brennan gets the ball through to Paul Kerr. Paul Kerr upended by Ian Olney. Free kick will be to Middlesbrough, 10 yards or so inside their own half. Similar distance in from the far side touchline. Middlesbrough moving forward. Only Stephen Pearce, and the man who's going to be taking this free kick now, that's Simon Coleman, just inside Middlesbrough's half. Simon Coleman takes it long, up go the heads. It's Owen McGee who gets there first, flicks it into the path of Bernie Slavin. That looks suspiciously like handball, directly in front of the linesman. The referee, with his back to Bernie Slavin, also spotted it.
Yeah, I think every match official probably in the country has got a circular about Bernie Slavin, because he does have this frustrating tendency to, when the ball's just out of reach, to try and put out the arm and control it and bring it back. Whatever he may be, Bernie Slavin, he's certainly not Maradona.
No, he scores more goals than he does. Stephen Pearce, right-footed goal kick, slices it, near side of play. Stuart Gray goes up for the head there, but Paul Kerr read it well and picks up that loose ball. Brings into play Mark Proctor. Mark Proctor with the outside of his right boot. Brings into play Alan Kernahan. Kernahan looks up, he's got Owen McGee on the overlap. Comes to the near side flank and Aston Villa clear it quite easily. Stern challenge in the back of Ian Olney by Nicky Mohan. Free kick to Aston Villa. The impetus is lost. Villa try to move forward with a free kick from Gordon Cowans. Glorious ball. Ian Ormondroyd taking on Gary Parkinson. Whips in the cross. Cannons off the legs of Parkinson. Hacked clear there by Mohan. Back to Parkinson again. His options are limited as he tries to clear. The assistance of Mark Proctor. He does that, but Proctor's clearance isn't a good one. Derek Mountfield pumps that ball back down towards the corner flag. Parkinson and Ormondroyd in a battle for the ball. The linesman signalling that the ball, either it's gone out of play. No, it's going to be a free kick. The elbow's being used there by Gary Parkinson on Ian Ormondroyd. And 16 minutes are showing in this second half as Aston Villa have a free kick. 5 or 6 yards up from the corner flag, near side of play, although the referee now has changed his mind. Said the ball has gone out of play and it will be a throw-in instead from that very position. Didn't make the position very clear there, the officials, but Gordon Cowans does take that throw-in. Was short to Ian Olney, shadowed there by Gary Parkinson, Nicky Mohan. Gets the ball through to Ian Ormondroyd. Ormondroyd twisting, turning on the edge of Middlesbrough's penalty area. Loses out there. Gary Parkinson hacks the ball clear up towards halfway line. Inside centre circle, Chris Price has a time and space to play a good long ball through the centre of Middlesbrough's defence. 2 Aston Villa players forward, Gordon Cowans and Derek Mountfield. The ball skids off the top of a wet surface and into the hands of Stephen Pearce. 16 minutes gone, a shade over in the second half here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough at the moment more than holding her own against the second place team in the first division. Stephen Pearce long goal kick on the thigh of Stuart Ripley. Can't bring it down, but it does fall kindly for Paul Kerr. And good battling from Paul Kerr. Out battles Stuart Gray. Tries to bring it to Stuart Ripley, but doesn't do so. But the ball will fall kindly for Gary Parkinson as Mark Proctor goes in for a sliding challenge there. It looks to be with Derek Mountfield on the near side of play, and Mountfield goes clattering onto the wet surface, but I think Mark Proctor there overcommitted.
Well, you could just see the expression on Mark Proctor's face, because he came at that challenge directly in front of us here in the commentary position, and really Proctor's face, they were saying, said it all. I'm the Middlesbrough captain. I want to get to Wembley. I want the ball. Unfortunately for Mountfield, he just knocked the ball a little bit too far forward, and Proctor, on such a surface as we have here at Villa Park tonight, was committed to the challenge, and as I say, that produced the free kick. But it was interesting, the referee didn't take any action to boot Mark Proctor. He realised, I think, he was just a little bit unlucky in the timing of that tackle.
18 minutes into the second half. Free kick to Aston Villa from halfway inside their own half, taken by Derek Mountfield to the edge of Middlesbrough's penalty area. Headed clear by Gary Parkinson. Pumped back in by Stuart Gray. Both the heads on the edge of that area. Is it going to fall for Paul Birch or Stephen Pears? Stephen Pears gets there first. Down at the feet of Paul Birch. Header through there from Ian Ormondroyd. A little bit too far for the lively Aston Villa winger, but Stephen Pears had a good game tonight. Positional sense has been sound from Stephen Pears, and that goal kick goes halfway inside Aston Villa's half with a flicked-on header from Alan Kernahan. Brings in now Bernie Slavin. Slavin's header isn't a good one. Slavin still comes to the near side of play to try and retrieve that ball, but Stuart Gray does good defensive work onto the chest there of David Platt. Platt inside to Ian Ormondroyd. Ormondroyd down the line, looking for the forward run of Ian Olney. Sliding challenge from Nicky Mohan. Puts the ball out of play. 20 yards up from the corner flag. Deep inside Middlesbrough's half. Throw into Aston Villa. A shade over 18 minutes gone and the scoreline at 1 each. Stuart Gray with a throw for Aston Villa. He goes short. Brings in now Gordon Cowans. Back to Stuart Gray. Skips past one challenge. Ball inside Middlesbrough's penalty area to Ian Olney. Back to Gordon Cowans again. Hugging the near side touchline. Cuts in field. Right-footed cross. Awkward for Stephen Pears with David Pratt coming in. Down onto his knees inside the 6-yard box. The Middlesbrough keeper, whose handling so far this evening has been immaculate, didn't let Middlesbrough down this time. Clears it right-footed onto the halfway line, where Paul Kerr picks up that loose ball. Sets Stuart Ripley free on the edge of Aston Villa's penalty area. Whips in a first-time cross. Derek Mountfield gets there first on the edge of the 6-yard box, with Alan Kernahan coming in behind him. Clears his lines at the expense of a throw-in. Halfway inside Aston Villa's half. Throw into Middlesbrough, near side of play. 19 minutes gone in this second half. Gary Parkinson goes short to Stuart Ripley. Good control from Stuart Ripley, trying to shake off Derek Mountfield. Down by the corner flag, deep inside Aston Villa's half. Shows the ball to Mountfield, skips past him, down to the goal line, brings the ball back. Is it going to fall for Mark Brennan? No, it isn't. Sets up Mark Proctor with a shooting chance. The ball drifts away from Proctor, but he still gets it through for Kernigan. Chip ball in from Kernigan. Bernie Slavin on the volley. I think he was caught in two minds. Does he shoot or does he pass?
Bernie Slavin always shoots. You should know that by now. But just picking up that incident a few moments ago, Stuart Ripley's having an excellent game tonight. He went down the Villa's right-hand side. The confidence of the lad to knock in a very dangerous pass. That is where Middlesbrough can win the game.
Paul Birch lightning breaks, puts in a wicked-looking centre. Superb handling from Stephen Pears inside the 6-yard box. Breathing down his neck was Ian Olney. The conditions are not to the liking of any goalkeeper in professional football, but Stephen Pears was supreme inside that 6-yard box. His handling was immaculate. Up he went, gathered that ball and clears it now. No distance on that goal kick though, as Gordon Cowans picks up the loose ball as Aston Villa begin to motor again. That is until Mark Brennan puts a back pass of fully 40 yards back to Stephen Pears, eluding once more Ian Olney. And Pears, can he get any further distance with this goal kick? Right-footed he goes inside centre circle. Derek Mountfield free. Chips the ball forward, looking for the forward run of Platt this time, as Olney had come back to avoid the offside trap. But Platt wasn't quick enough. Simon Coleman read it well. Gathers the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Goes back towards Stephen Pears. A shade over 20 minutes gone in this second half. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. Stephen Pears, right-footed, high, more distance on this one, halfway inside Aston Villa's half. The head of Alan Kernigan, who's getting there first. Kent Nielsen does for Aston Villa. And a battle there between Kevin Gage and Mark Brennan sees Bernie Slavin pick up that loose ball. Left-footed ball forward there from Mark Brennan when Bernie Slavin released him. Isn't a good one. Coming off his goal line to gather inside his own penalty area is Nigel Spink. Nigel Spink to the edge of that area, goes right-footed and long, halfway inside Middlesbrough's half. A flick header picked up by Paul Kerr. Paul Kerr inside towards Stuart Ripley. Ripley inside towards Alan Kernahan. He's caught there by Stuart Gray. Free kick to Middlesbrough, and Aston Villa have a chance now to make a second substitution. The man coming off is going to be Paul Birch. The man coming on, that's going to be Tony Daly. You can hear the boos maybe in the background. The Aston Villa fans don't like the fact that Paul Birch is coming on, but just listen for the reception that Tony Daly is going to get as he takes the place now. Second half, but Middlesbrough have a free kick. 10 yards inside the Villa half. Halfway inside at half as Gary Parkinson takes that free kick now. Headed away by Kent Nielsen inside the penalty area. Bernie Slavin out battles Kevin Gage to get a chance of a left-footed cross, chips that ball in, arriving late is Proctor shoots! Oh, on the goal line, a good save from Nigel Spink. That header, not the shot, as I said there from Mark Proctor. That header, it's an excellent effort. Going down on the goal line was Nigel Spink, but Middlesbrough ever closer to scoring. How much closer can you get? The first time touchdown for Tony Daly for Aston Villa is not a good one, as Mark Brennan stops him. Picking up the loose ball is Gordon Cowans. Middlesbrough must defend in numbers at the moment, but good defensive duties from Alan Kernahan back helping his defence. 22 minutes into this second half. It's Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. Stephen Pears, right-footed with that goal kick for Middlesbrough. Off go the heads of Kent Nielsen, Stuart Ripley. Ripley wins it onto Alan Kernahan. Kernahan halfway inside Aston Villa's half, releases Stuart Ripley. Ripley skips past the challenge of Chris Price. He can't get past the challenge of Kent Nielsen. Hacked clear there from the loose ball, and a good clearance there from Kevin Gage. The ball picked up on the halfway line for Aston Villa by Gordon Cowans. Poor ball from Cowans though, that's easily read for Middlesbrough, and lost in the same movement there by Nicky Mohan. On the halfway line for Aston Villa now is Kevin Gage. And Kevin Gage to the far side of play. Poor ball from Gage. Chris Price didn't read it. 10 yards inside the Middlesbrough half. Middlesbrough have a throw in, just dropped by Bernie Slavin for Owen McGee, the man who's going to be taking it. Owen McGee goes short. He's going to be looking for Mark Brennan. He takes that one. He finds Chris Price instead as Aston Villa move forward in halfway inside their own half. They will have a free kick. It's going to be taken for them by Gordon Cowans. 10 yards inside the Aston Villa half. Similar distance in from the far side touchline. Gordon Cowans will be taking this free kick as Aston Villa push everybody forward. There's only Nigel Spink back inside his own half. Middlesbrough defending in numbers. That free kick comes in now from Gordon Cowans. Up with the head in Ormondroyd, gets it first. Paul Kerr clears that loose ball. Stuart Ripley's on his own. He's got to cut back towards the edge of the centre circle. Kevin Gage is breathing down his neck. He gets that ball through to Tony Daly. Good defensive work from Daly. He's halfway inside his own half by the time he retrieves that ball though, and gets the ball all the way back from halfway inside his own half back towards goalkeeper Nigel Spink. 24 minutes have gone in this second half. It's Aston Villa 1 and Middlesbrough 1. Long goal kick from Nigel Spink. Looking for the feet of David Platt. Sliding challenge from Nicky Mohan. Puts the ball out of play. Throw into Aston Villa halfway inside Middlesbrough's half. Far side of play as we welcome listeners to the Night Network with the news. 24 minutes into the second half at Villa Park. It's Middlesbrough 1, Aston Villa 1.
Here, this could be dangerous for Middlesbrough. Oh, that looked as if Olney missed a sitter there. In fact, it was Plateau.
On that occasion, though, Jimmy Carter played it with his right foot, curling.
Around about 10 minutes into this second half.
He absolutely really is pouring it down now, and Middlesbrough still under the collar, but
Reel a little bit under Aston Villa's pressure, but as I say, two glorious chances for Alan Kernahan have been missed. An absolute torrent here at Villa Park, but the scoreline remains the same. 24 minutes into the second half. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough pressing near side of play. It's Mark Proctor inside towards Alan Kernahan. As I say, the conditions here are absolutely impossible, but Middlesbrough do have a free kick. We're 25 minutes into the second half. Here to continue commentary, Alistair Brownlee.
Well, he hit upon the word there, Gordon. Impossible conditions. Leicester Shapter is absolutely soaked, so two of the rest of the players. There's a cloudburst here at Villa Park. The scoreline still Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. The fans rushing for cover wherever they can get it from this torrential downpour. But we are watching Mark Proctor taking this free kick. Tries to swing it in through the rain, the mud and everything else. But diving head from Kent Nielsen gets away. Now Tony Daly just inside the Middlesbrough half. Tries to outpace there Owen McGee. A brave battle, but Daly could barely get the ball to move forward. Eventually a second tackle came in. The ball went out of place. It's going to be thrown for Aston Villa just inside their own half, and the referee out there, Leicester Shapter, he's had one or two thoughts, I'm sure, about conditions. The pitch is holding up remarkably well. On Saturday here, they played a cup tie against Port Vale. It cut it badly. Tonight, not too bad, but Aston Villa now take that free kick. Deep it goes, looks for the head as usual of Ian Ormondroyd, but evaded the tall head of sticks there, as they like to call him, Ian Ormondroyd, and almost from the right-hand side, it went out of play on the left-hand side, just about 5 yards or so up from the corner flag. Throw-in comes in now, taken by Gary Parkins. Almost immediately Villa win it. Get inside the Middlesbrough penalty area. David Platt goes down. Is that a penalty? No, says referee Leicester Shapter. Good view of that. Excellent position from the official. And he says quite simply the ball has gone out of play for a goal kick. We should be talking about the football, but conditions, are they playable?
Only just now, I think, yes, that torrential downpour which we were talking about just as you took over commentary there, Alistair. Thankfully they have ceased somewhat, although it is still particularly miserable conditions. I certainly wouldn't like to be out there, I know that. We're sitting under cover here in the press box and we're still getting absolutely drenched. The conditions are well nigh impossible, just about playable at the moment though, but if this rain goes on for much longer, I'm going to put a question mark over the state of that pitch.
And Middlesbrough now attacking midway inside the Aston Villa half with Bernie Slavin. Slavin comes inside now, tries to work a 1-2 stop with a tremendous challenge on the edge of the penalty. I think there by Kent Nielsen. Gets it short there, and Aston Villa, Gordon Cox trying to prompt an attack forward, seeking out Ian Olney just inside the Villa half. And then it moves out towards far side of the play. But Tony Daly, the dangerous winger, the substitute who's come on for the Villa to try and turn the game, knocks it forward long, trying to catch a forward run there as it went in towards the edge of the Middlesbrough penalty area from David Platt. But Borough goalkeeper Stephen Pears read that to perfection. He came out very calmly indeed. He grabbed hold of the ball, did Stephen Pears, and behind him are the Middlesbrough supporters. They were singing, they're cheering. Yes, they are, despite the rain pouring down here at Villa Park. So maximum vocal support from the terraces, cheering on Paul Kerr. Close to us here in touchline position, almost involved with the battle with his own players, Stuart Ripley. Ripley and Kerr, I think, misreading each other's intentions there, and tall Ian Ormondroyd came in, knocked it out of play for a throw-in. Throw-in then for Middlesbrough, midway inside the Villa half. The rain abating somewhat, but only just. Never commentated through a hurricane before, but it seemed like that at Villa Park a few minutes or so ago. Throwing comes in from Gary Parkinson, tries to seek out Stuart Ripley. Ripley's been followed there by Derek Mountfield. Ball goes out of play, just about 5 yards or so up from the right-hand corner flag. Come on, Borough, as usual. Whenever Middlesbrough look like moving forward, come from the travelling support here at Villa Park tonight. Throw-in's going to be taken from Gary Parkinson. Usually likes to have a go with the long throws, Parkinson. He's very close to that touchline, though, and when he throws the ball in, almost throws it straight to Ormondroyd. Ormondroyd and Ripley are involved in a battle, and Ormondroyd is clearing his lines with the expense of the throw-in for Middlesbrough, surely. But no, the linesman just in front of the dugouts there indicates it's going to be a throw-in for Aston Villa, taken by number 3, the captain, Stuart Gray. Gray takes the throw, gets the return pass from Ormondroyd, then goes long down left-hand side. Up goes Nicky Moore, an aerial combat there, but when the ball falls, it almost dies straight on the turf here at Villa Park. Any defensive header's got to be a powerful one.
Yeah, I think if Middlesbrough are going to clear their own lines, they've got to loft that ball back towards Stephen Pears. The only time you're going to get a true run on the ball at Villa Park for the rest of the evening is going to be down the flanks. They've been largely untouched tonight, apart from Paul Birch, who's disturbed a couple of divots. But Middlesbrough really starting to lift that ball. If they're going to go down the middle, nobody's going to plough their way through that mud now. For some 29 minutes into the second half, really the ground is cutting up rather badly. They've got to play the ball on the flanks or in the air.
Aston Villa have the loose ball just inside the Middlesbrough half. Stuart Gray tries to go around the challenge that dived in there from Alan Kernigan. Middlesbrough forcing Villa back, but some composed work from Kent Nielsen. In fact, referee now has had to stop the play because down there, hidden from our view for a moment or so, looks like the Middlesbrough captain, that's Mark Proctor. He is down in some agony just outside the centre circle, and Middlesbrough's 2 substitutes tonight, that's down there Trevor Putney and also Mark Burke, another Aston Villa connection on display. They're beginning their warm-up procedure once more. I don't think they wanted to leave the dugout there, such as conditions here at Villa Park, but Middlesbrough physio Brian Gant is out there trying to administer some work there towards Middlesbrough's captain Mark Proctor. It'd be a tragedy to lose the skipper.
Yes, it certainly would. His motivational capabilities as a captain are certainly unquestionable, but he's on the edge of that centre circle now, and he's just signalled over to the bench. As soon as he went down, he signalled over that he needed treatment, and good decision there from referee Lester Shapter to stop play. I know Aston Villa were on the attack, and it's an easy thing to say, but the referee, I think, realised that it was a little bit of a serious looking knock from Mark Proctor. Thankfully, at the moment, it appears to be that the knock isn't as serious as it would seem. Play will restart with a drop ball, and Middlesbrough with 11 fit men.
How on earth to get a drop ball in conditions such as this? He's going to try it inside centre circle anyway, referee Lester Shapter. Calling towards him Kent Nielsen and Middlesbrough's Stuart Ripley. The ball is going to attempt to bounce now. It just dies on the surface. And Stuart Ripley, congratulations to him and the Middlesbrough players. Allow Aston Villa to gain possession because they did have in fact possession of the football when the referee called a halt to the game. That's something good in the modern game, the way in which the players work these things out amongst themselves. And the ball eventually finds itself out of play over on far side of the field from us here. So Aston Villa are going to launch a challenge once more down the Middlesbrough left-hand side, as it were. Throwing coming in from Chris Price. Goes straight away out of play from Owen McGee. Gets a second bite now. In comes the throw towards Tony Daly. Daly trying to take on the Borough defence. Gets the ball. And wicked centre comes in. It bounces free almost for Ormondroyd. Comes back into and a shot. And there goes Middlesbrough goalkeeper Stephen Pears diving away to his left-hand side. Acrobatic goalkeeping. Good effort though from Gordon Cox.
Good build-up as well from Aston Villa. Far side, Tony Daly, clean pair of fields, good-looking crossover. Ian Ormondroyd laid the ball perfectly into the back of Cowans, into the path of Cowans even. Excellent backlift from Stephen Pears. I thought he'd missed it for one moment. Launched himself backwards, caught it as it was going behind him. Superb save from the Middlesbrough keeper. He's had an immaculate game this evening.
1, Middlesbrough 1, Paul Birch. I can barely read it because the rain that's come down in the press box has obliterated all the handwriting, but I can remember it instantly. Paul Birch with the goal for Aston Villa on 13 minutes. Bernie Slavin equaliser on 15, his 22nd goal of the season. The size of the crowd, every one of them deserves a medal. 16-4-5-7. There's another Aston Villa charge forward from Ian Olney. He's stopped on the edge of the Middlesbrough penalty area. Good tackling back there from Nicky Moan, and Stephen Pears comes out to collect once more. Pears then right-footed deep, seeks out the run there for Alan Kernaghan. Kernaghan was beaten by the head of Kent Nielsen, but Nielsen's header isn't accurate. It finds Paul Kerr. Kerr raiding down the right flank now, being stopped for a moment by Ian Ormondroyd, who was bought as a traditional centre-forward, but having to do some defensive work for Villa. His clearance is poor. Gary Parkinson curves in the centre. Neat back header from Bernie Slavin, but lands slap bang in the mud inside 6-yard box.
No Middlesbrough player within 10 yards of it either. Good work there, but the ball should have been in first time, I think, from Gary Parkinson. Just delayed his cross a little bit too much, and Bernie Slavin there with a back header into what would have been a good traditional striking role. Possibly we'll see that to good effect when Ian Baird comes into the side, due to make his debut for Middlesbrough. Reserve team berth at Barnsley tomorrow, so if you're not doing anything, go down there. For the state of this rain, we'll be able to swim down there, I would think.
I think so. Middlesbrough have a free kick on halfway line. It's taken by Gary Parkinson. Looks the run there up front of Alan Kernaghan. Kernaghan's attempted centre in comes out of Kent Nielsen. It's going to be a corner for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough throwing plenty of players forward. I was going to say in white shirts, but not. Anybody with any soap powder listening who wants to fancy washing the Middlesbrough kit has my sympathy. Middlesbrough have a corner. It's 1-1. How vital a goal would be if it could come from this one. Mark Brennan's going to take it. Mark Brennan as Middlesbrough attack the Holt end of the ground to swing in this corner. Left-footed it goes now. Up go the heads. A neat header away from Derek Mountfield. Only though as far as Paul Kerr. Kerr returns the ball to Mark Brennan. Brennan's centre comes in. It's up inside the Villa 6-yard box there. Villa just can't clear it. Stu Ripley dives in. So 2 to Simon Coleman. Eventually it's somehow hacked clear as far as Paul Kerr. The Borough pressure remains on. Gary Parkinson now close to right-hand touchline. Down that touchline it goes to Alan Kernaghan. Kernaghan is battling. He is fighting. Up in support there is Gary Parkinson, who tries a clever chip type of ball forward. But Derek Mountfield read that one to perfection and brought back in his goalkeeper Nigel Spink. About 10 minutes of action is left in the Zenith Data Systems Cup Northern Regional. I think it's the first leg in the final, as the saying goes. It's such a long title. Goodness knows, I think we'll just call it the ZDS Cup. Let's end it with that. But it's 1-1 at the minute, not the Mickey Mouse Cup, because the players out there tonight are committing their side's cause. They sense Wembley on the horizon, and it's Aston Villa 1, it's Middlesbrough 1. Ball just inside centre circle there. Ian Olney, the spray comes up as he tries to push it wide towards Tony Daly. But it was a misdirected pass, even allowing for the conditions. It's going to be a throw-in for Middlesbrough, going to be taken by Owen McGee, just inside his own half. 2 Middlesbrough players, that's Trevor Putney and Mark Burke. Just in front of us here, the Borough subs are still carrying on their warm-up procedure. Or are they allowed back in the dugout? I think Bruce Rioch has been kind to them as the watch over on far side of the play. The ball come in and go straight out again. It's going to be thrown this time for Aston Villa. Chris Price takes it down right-hand side. It's now midway inside the Middlesbrough half with Tony Daly. Daly back to Price once more. Then the direct route to goal with Ian Olney. Olney bring in Daly. Daly skips round one challenge. Edge of Middlesbrough penalty area. Middlesbrough sheer weight of numbers force him back as far as the Aston Villa captain. That's Stuart Gray. Gray then hoists the ball in. Stephen Pears comes, says my ball, and collects it firmly. Then lays it out to Bernie Slavin. Counter charge on this from Middlesbrough. Slavin inside the Villa half now to Stuart Ripley. Ripley with real pace can cause problems. Ripley inside the Aston Villa penalty area. If anybody deserves a goal, he does. Well, in fact, with a shot coming in from Slavin. One shot rebounds against the defender. Aston Villa, the luckiest team in the world to get away with that one, because somehow the ball hit against Ian Ormondroyd, and Aston Villa now have a counter charge on. Aston Villa had a counter charge for the moment, and then right in front of the manager, Gordon Cowans, who's usually such an astute distributor of the ball, kicks it straight out of play. But Aston Villa once more lucky to survive.
Yes, Bernie Slavin picking up on that loose ball at the edge of the penalty area. He lofted the ball through. He was going to run through himself. The ball just skipped away from him. Paul Kerr thought he could get in there first. Bernie Slavin thought otherwise. The two of them were fighting for it. Aston Villa cleared.
Stuart Gray now moves just inside the Middlesbrough half, near side touchline. Gray looking for a run up front. He's trying to get Ian Ormondroyd into a position. Eventually he goes for centre, skips off the turf there as far as Ian Olney. Olney alongside him in support has Tony Daly. Nice ball just inside full back there, but Middlesbrough goalkeeper Stephen Pears comes and collects it. And Stephen Pears, well, I was going to say looks at the watch, but I don't think he's wearing one out there at the moment. I'm looking at my watch. It tells with something like 9 minutes of action left in this one. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1, and if its scoreline remains unaltered, what a cracking second leg it would be at Ayresome Park in a week's time. Or are Middlesbrough in fact going to better this one? No, they're not, because Bernie Slavin then tries a back pass from the halfway line, goes straight towards goalkeeper Stephen Pears. Good job he doesn't play for Newcastle.
Yes, it is, but then again, we haven't got Trevor Senior anymore, have we? So, just as well, perhaps. No, good work there from Bernie Slivin. Nothing else on in a forward move, but there is now.
Stuart Ripley charging for the edge of the Aston Villa area. Tries to go around one challenge. He gets around one, gets around the second. Real promising position for Ripley. Will he make up his mind what he wants to do? Eventually, the centre comes in. Headed away. Will this go for a corner? No, in fact, the ball just trickles out for a throw-in for Middlesbrough. Just up from right-hand corner flag. Paul Kerr's going to take this one. Kerr attempts to throw the ball in, and the referee Lester Shapter calls immediately for the Aston Villa physio to come onto the field. Looks possibly like Derek Manfield might have taken a knock down there, but Stuart Ripley is causing the Villa defence tonight all sorts of problems.
Yes, Stuart Ripley just taking his time to pick his spot there. He saw a late run coming in from Alan Kernahan, trying to pick him out on the edge of the 6-yard box as Kernahan honed in on goal, but the ball didn't quite get through to him. Van catching the ball full in the face is the man receiving treatment now. It is Derek Mountfield. He was doubtful for the start of the match tonight, so that was with an ankle injury. I'm not too sure that he's going to be happy getting smacked in the face with the ball either.
Well, not in conditions such as this. Who says a footballer's life is a grand one? Conditions here at Villa Park terrible. The excitement very good indeed. Throwing comes in though from Paul Kerr. Cleared there by Stuart Gray. Only as far as Mark Brennan. Midway inside the Villa Park. Alongside him in support is Mark Proctor. Proctor to Kerr. Middlesbrough's midfield working in tangent there. Ball goes forward to Stuart Ripley. Beaten out there by Derek Mountfield as far as Gordon Cowan. Long ball forward. One for Olling to chase, but controlled there by Simon Coleman. And Coleman then calmness, coolness, authority up towards Alan Kernigan. Kernigan with the chest to Bernie Slavin. Kernigan gets the return ball. Dithers and dathers a little bit. Will he try a shot from here? Tries the shot from distance. A glorious effort from Kernigan. Just shaved the right-hand post and went only just wide.
An excellent shot there from Alan Kernahan. Waited till Aston Villa were back on their heels. Had a shot from 25 yards. Nigel Spink diving away to his right-hand side. That's the type of thing you've got to do, because remember what happened to Dave Besant in that cup match when Bristol City had the shot from distance. The ball skidded off a greasy surface. Exactly what we've got here tonight. And obviously the following up there was Bernie Slavin. Who else? But the ball just wide.
Stuart Ripley now charging, taking on the Aston Villa defence once more. He's 20 yards out from goal. Tries a shot, does Ripley, and that dips over the top of the bar. And Nigel Spink is angry with his own defence. And the Middlesbrough public, who've travelled down here and paid £8 for a seat, are not sitting down. They're standing. They're cheering their team on.
It's impossible to sit, isn't it? Such is the tension down here. 6 minutes left here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. But the last 3 or 4 minutes, Middlesbrough has backed on by a tremendous following down here at Villa Park. Numbering around about 2,500, I would think. They've made themselves heard all night. But Middlesbrough in the ascendancy as far as going forward is concerned in the last 2 or 3 minutes. They have to be careful and not to concede one at the back, because Aston Villa still do look dangerous.
Stuart Gray, long ball forward. Middlesbrough call upon to defend once more as Gordon Cowan says it. Chips the ball in. Headed away there by Simon Coleman. Only as far as number 2. That's Kevin Gage for Aston Villa. Puts the ball out wide once more towards Tony Daly. Daly attempting to get the byline. Classic winger's position. A tumble, a fall over the top of the ball. Tony Daly still has it. It seems tied to his foot. He then puts it into the area. A shot comes in that's blocked on 6-yard box. It's on the edge of the Middlesbrough penalty area. When a drive went in there from Kevin Gage. That drive went wide. But really, I suppose it underlines, we're not going to blame the conditions too much here, because there's the same for both teams. But if you're in the defence then you get a connection on it, you've got to make it a positive one.
Well, Mark Brennan just remonstrating with Lester Shapter, the referee there, saying that Owen McGee was pushed when Tony Daly went straight through there. I think it was a little bit of 50-50. It was a shoulder charge and Owen McGee lost his...
We're looking down there at the seats in front of us here. The fans have retreated right back towards us here in commentary position. There's just one banana with an Aston Villa shirt on that's down there. Seems to be enjoying things anyway. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. 5 minutes of action left in this. Aston Villa have a throw-in just over on the far side of the play. A couple of yards or so up from that corner flag. The throw-in comes in now. Works its way back. A chip ball inside the Middlesbrough penalty area. Mark Brennan back in defence clears it on as far as Chris Price. Price looks to see what options he has forward and eventually finds itself away to the right-hand side once more. Need I say Tony Daly. Daly centre comes in now. Dangerous one. Ian only gets a connection on it. It's inside 6-yard box and dribbled out there by Gary Parkinson. Good work. Alongside him in support is Paul Kerr. The route back to goal is blocked. He's got to clear this ball. He clears it as far as Mark Brennan. Brennan, nice ball. Out wide it goes to Gary Parkinson. Parkinson attempts to go long, but inside centre circle is Chris Price. Slides in there, muddies his shorts, but gets a good connection on us. There's a Middlesbrough player inside 6-yard box who's down and hurt, but referee allowing play to go on as Tony Daly raids down right-hand side. Centre comes in, headed away by Simon Coleman. Middlesbrough just not clearing their lines at the moment as Tony Daly has it once more on the edge of the area. Another slide challenge comes in, but Aston Villa keep on picking up the loose ball. They're knocking it inside the Middlesbrough area. Borough clear it though up to halfway line. Chris Price, long ball forward to nobody in particular. I think he kicked some mud off his boots in absolute disgust. His own attempts to pass the ball there. But for a few minutes, Middlesbrough were breathing very deeply indeed.
Tremendous bout of pressure there from Aston Villa. 3.5 minutes left. It's still 1 each. Mark Burke and Trevor Putney certainly enjoying themselves. Been warming up for about the last... was it cooling down, don't I'm not too sure. Thoroughly soaked anyway for the last 10 to 15 minutes or so. Been chatting with the Aston Villa spectators just in front of us here in the commentary position as Aston Villa press forward again.
Middlesbrough can't clear the ball. Nicky Moore high to no great effect, but when it eventually comes down, it's picked up there by Mark Brennan. Long ball forward, seeks out the run of Stuart Ripley. Ripley's run is challenged, and the ball goes back as far as the Aston Villa goalkeeper, Nigel Spink. Long it goes now. Just away to the right-hand side as Spink was looking at it, but Owen McGee picks up the loose ball, tries to get involved in the action there. Alan Kernigan, blocked out by Gordon Cowans. Not a night for the skill of Gordon Cowans, but he's still trying all the same to run the ball forward. But in these conditions, you can't run with it, you've got to distribute it. Bernie Slavin to Gary Parkinson. Parkinson is ordered by Mr. Gordon Cox to distribute the ball the full length of the half back towards his goalkeeper, Stephen Pears, and that is precisely what he does. And Stephen Pears comes to the edge of the area, and he just moves it away to the right-hand side, in fact, to get out of the muddiest part. He's well aware at 1-1 and 3 minutes left on the watch. This is a very, very good scoreline for Middlesbrough indeed. Up now towards Stuart Ripley as the Middlesbrough fans continue to cheer on their team. Ripley tries to skip round a challenge. He's run miles in Middlesbrough's cause tonight, but can't get round there, Stuart Gray. Throw-in for Middlesbrough. Midway inside the Aston Villa half, and Gary Parkinson's going to take this one now. Once more, Ripley makes himself available. Back to goal, comes near side of play, but blocked out is that route to goal there by Stuart Gray. Gray turned to Ian Ormondroyd, and Ormondroyd's precise ball forward is knocked out of play by Gary Parkinson. The watch tells us 2 minutes of action left. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1, crowd 16,457. Middlesbrough fans making plenty of noise and see their team pick up the loose ball with Paul Kerr. Kerr 30 yards out from goal. He's got to run at the Villa defence. Oh, he's tumbled from behind. The professional foul, they call it. Well, gamesmanship may be another word for it, but quite simply, Kerr thought, I'm going for goal, and he's clipped from behind.
Yes, and Kevin Gage it is the man who's going to be spoken to, and I think that's all it will be by Leicester Chapter. I don't think at this late stage he's going to produce the notebook. Paul Kerr certainly was in with a clean shot on goal there, approaching the edge of the penalty area, and Kevin Gage, as they say in the professional trade, I suppose had no other option but to bring him down. And what do you do? If Gary Parkinson had been in the same position with David Platt going through, would you have expected him to bring him down? Remember that FA Cup tie against Notts County when John T. Josie went waltzing around Middlesbrough's defence. The cries there to bring him down were often heard from Middlesbrough's terraces. If he had, Middlesbrough might have been in the Cup. You can't really blame Kevin Gage for what he did, although it's not pretty.
Free kick is taken short as far as Mark Brennan hits a drive. It's a marvellous goal. Mark Brennan has scored from about 30 yards or so. Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 2. Is it Wembley? Here we come. Mark Brennan has scored a cracking goal. Mark Brennan then takes all the adulation of the players, and the fans indeed try to come on here. That's not something we want to see. Aston Villa stewards just got to make sure that Middlesbrough players sing and celebrate, but remain on the terraces. It's Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 2. Paul Kerr, you might remember, was tripped down in the most crude fashion, and Aston Villa are punished in exemplary fashion. Short free kick from Mark Proctor. Mark Brennan buried the ball in the back of the Villa net. As I say, is it Wembley? Here we come. A long, long time to go. And I suppose the second leg at Ayresome Park in a week's time, but we're now moving into injury time at the end of the game, and a glorious strike from Brennan.
He can seldom have hit a ball more cleanly than that. The ball skidded to him. He's about 30 yards out. He set his sights on goal. What a marvellous strike from Mark Brennan. He can hit it, so you can seldom have hit a better strike or a more important strike. He's now buzzing in that midfield. He's trying to release Bernie Slavin. He isn't going to get him as Mountfield gets there first. But what a strike from Mark Brennan. The ball never got more than 2 feet off the ground. Nigel Spink didn't see it. A superb goal.
In recent weeks, I've been likening Mark Brennan's play to that of Graeme Souness at his best at Ayresome Park, and that was Souness shooting at his best as well. Brennan now is involved in the battle inside centre circle. In fact, so too is Bernie Slavin. The excitement's getting a bit much for the Middlesbrough players out there. They concede a free kick with 34 seconds to be precise into injury time at the end of normal time. It's Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 2. Villa with this free kick, left-footed to the edge of the area. A knock-on, an attempted clearance. Will it fall? Bernie Slavin taps the ball back to goalkeeper Stephen Pears. He's lost it. It's hacked to it at the edge of the area once more. The boots are raised, and eventually the ball is not clear, but more worryingly is that throw-in is going to be taken over, and far side of the play is the sight of Middlesbrough goalkeeper Stephen Pears laid out inside 6-yard box.
The game's still going on far side of play, unbeknown to Leicester Shafter, who's called the Middlesbrough physiotherapist on the field of play now. Stephen Pears was flattened there. A back pass from Gary Parkinson looked to be a good one. If a back pass can ever be called a good one, but it held up in the mud. 2 Aston Villa players pulled forward. It looked to be Ian Olney and Ian Ormondroyd. Both went for the ball, both clattered into Stephen Pears. Flat out on his back, Stephen Pears. I think he's going to be okay. Dragged himself to his feet, but that noise you can hear in the background, guess where that's coming from.
Well, you can't quite believe the loyalty of the Middlesbrough supporters. They've had so much to put up with during the years, and over the past few years rather. The throw-in is now taken. Stephen Pearce is back, and that in fact is the end. And that is the end of this game here, the first leg. I suppose mission half accomplished. It's Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 2. The Middlesbrough players now, well, mud, they might be splattered all over those white shirts, but they're going to accept the applause of the Middlesbrough fans in the seats on the far side. And the terracing away to the left, Borough is all you can hear echoing around this famous stadium of Villa Park. But it is Aston Villa 1, Middlesbrough 2. Middlesbrough fighting back from Paul Birch's goal on 13 minutes. Bernie Slaven it was 2 minutes later with a tap in after Alan Kernaghan's flying header had brought an equally flying save from Nigel Spink to tap the ball onto the bar. When it came down, Bernie Slaven was in goal poaching position, and then as Middlesbrough battled hard into the second half, it seemed as if that second goal wouldn't come for the Borough, but Paul Kerr surged forward through the mud. He was tripped up about 20 yards or so out from goal. Mark Proctor side-footed the ball to Mark Brennan, and Brennan let fly, and the ball was in the back of the net.
Well, great credit for this must go to Bruce Rioch. Many questioned his decision and the tactical lineup which put Alan Kernaghan forward and not in a defensive duty. At my word, Bruce Rioch has come off with a tactical piece of genius this evening, because all right, Middlesbrough have won, but let's not get carried away for it. Anybody who thinks Middlesbrough have got 1 foot into that Wembley final is a fool, because Aston Villa are a very, very good side indeed. But tonight at Villa Park, in the mud and the incessant rain, Middlesbrough quite simply outbattled them. Middlesbrough stuck to their guns. They were about to get up against it. High-riding Aston Villa, second in the first division. Middlesbrough were undaunted. They pushed forward. They took the game to Aston Villa. Good performances in midfield from Paul Kerr, who kept Middlesbrough ticking all the time. Mark Brennan with that shot. Well, that capped a sound performance from him as well. Defensively, Simon Coleman, I thought, was sound. Stephen Pearce was immaculate. But Middlesbrough really still have an awful lot to do. They've got 2 away goals and a 1-goal lead. You could ask for no more than that. Back home, I was talking to a few people, and Middlesbrough was saying, in Middlesbrough, I should say,